everyone, and welcome to No Excuses on VTWProductions.com and YouTube.com with your hosts, Fenurian.
And Volacel, and once more no Aristeal because he's still confined to holiday.
Yeah,
and we're here to bring you the latest.
He's suffering on a beach somewhere.
Maybe. I don't know, he might have found a way not to go to the beach. He didn't seem very keen on the idea before.
He seems to have taken his Vista with him, at least. We can see him playing games.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the deal is with that.
Vita, what am I saying? Bleh.
He clearly has internet access, but he's not here. At any rate, we are ostensibly here to bring you the latest news and commentary on the video games industry for the week, although there is not really that much of it. So we are, again, once more confined to occupying ourselves by derping around on Titan Quest until we can think of something better to play.
Why was I just purple and wobbly?
Well, because I give you an aura when I move into range.
Oh, right, yes. So yeah, this is, again,
some of us are team players, and other people are rogues.
Some of these are rogues. I poison things. And I also plunk at things. That's about the limit of my utility right here.
Right. I have no idea what we were doing when we left off, so you'll have to work it out and lead the way. I don't even know how to bring up the quest menu.
We're going north. So, where were we? Shtick!
Right. If you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com, or you can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw, or you can join us in Discord, which is most easily accessed by going to vtwproductions.com and clicking on any of the show logo on any of our recent show posts.
Yes,
and there you can basically, post crap in our server and get agitated by Seraphis insistently talking about Vor.
Oh, right. That was a thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I've just guaranteed that nobody will ever come to our Discord server. Or if they do, they'll come for the wrong sorts of reasons.
Yeah. So yeah, this is going to be another more relaxed show because we're missing an Ari and there's really nothing to talk about this week. So we're just going to play a bit of Titan Quest again.
Yeah. And in the meantime, we will basically shoot the breeze about whatever crosses our minds and attempt to talk about weeks which have been basically bent over by being grown up. Which I still deeply resent.
I wouldn't call it being grown up in my case. Drunk cowboys are not really grown-ups.
Well, I mean, they're old enough to drink.
Yeah, but they really shouldn't.
Oh dear.
It's
that season in Australia, in inland Australia.
'Tis the event season. 'Tis the season to go out and ostensibly watch some sort of event, but really it's just an excuse to go somewhere novel and get drunk.
Yeah.
And also leave your car in a really stupid place. I'm going this way. Bye.
How did you do a lot of car retrievals?
Did a few. Uh-oh. Has the game just frozen?
I just see you standing there.
Oh dear. Something seems to have gone horribly wrong here. Right.
Time quested and crashed. Well, I'm hosting the game, so it's still running.
Yeah.
While you stand and do nothing.
Right. This is a problem.
Venurian has left the game.
Okay, so yeah, it's crashed. Let me just do that and reboot this game. Nobody really wants to see the mess that is my desktop, I suppose. Alright. I suppose we can just tangent straight into that. So yeah, my week has been kind of dominated by work around rodeo season in town, and it is arguably possibly the biggest rodeo in the Southern Hemisphere in some regards. The other one that actually puts biggest rodeo in the Southern Hemisphere, like some sort of narcissistic jerk, is actually the Mount Isa rodeo in the next town over. But it's kind of crap. So, yeah.
I don't know, you all seem to have some sort of grudge against Mount Isa.
There's a very good reason for that, and anyone who's ever been there will be able to tell you exactly why. And that's just because it exists. It's a town that exists solely to supply a mine. And it's kind of gotten big-ish. The net result basically being it has all the downsides of living in the city, but none of the benefits.
You chose a really bad time to disconnect.
Oh
I
dear.
just realised that thing is a boss.
Oh dear. I'm coming back in as quick as I can.
Well, so you can make it strong enough to one-shot me just as soon as you appear.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Just keep throwing your purple wobblies at it.
He throws wobblies at me, only they're electric and blue.
I'll throw your purple ones back. And I will show up and plunk away at him. When I can. So yeah, Drunk Cowboys. Oh boy. Let me see. I think there's maybe... we've lost count of the amount of fights that there were out front of the pubs, because there always are. Only a few people got hospitalised this year because of pub fighting, which is something... It's probably a new record.
Only a few people were hospitalised.
And only one seems to be bound to jail, which is definitely a new record.
Well, one that you know of personally.
Well, yes. So, overall, it's actually been a fairly quiet rodeo year. It's rather sad when you think of it that way, doesn't it?
I can't tell if you're pleased or disappointed.
Possibly a bit of both. Oh, well. Actually, it's been fairly novel for me, because normally I do the night shift on these things and end up running face first into the zombie horde at the end of the night. And no, that is not a figure of speech. It is almost quite literally the living dead. Yeah, so I ended up doing the day shift and missed quite a lot of that, so I'm actually a lot happier today than I normally would be after this event.
Yeah, I expect it's not a great deal of fun dealing with drunken cowboys at their drunkenest.
Nope. So yeah, the war stories are still coming in, and yeah, the extent of the damage is probably going to become fully known over the next week or so, so we'll see what happens.
If you lived in a more nanny state country, they would have already banned it by now. I'm pretty sure they've tried to ban rodeos any number of times in this country.
Oh yeah, they've tried it here, and they keep getting told to sod off because nanny state. And yeah, every now and again Peter makes an appearance, and hilarity ensues.
I'm surprised they can survive in that environment.
Oh, they live in Melbourne.
Oh, I see.
Enough said. I know a lot of really cool people who live in Melbourne, but oh god grief, some of the other people. Oh boy.
Well, I think that it is. You don't seem to be poisoning things.
That's because
it seems that you become less cool the longer that you live in Melbourne.
Yeah, my brother is a statue. That's not right. He's a testament to that. There we go. That's the right word. As soon as he moved to Melbourne, he needed to start wearing thick hipster-style glasses to start with. He also unironically wore a fedora at one point.
Oh my goodness, fedoras really?
Yeah.
Like, once upon a time, they were a perfectly serviceable hat.
Yeah, they've kind of been ruined.
Yeah, and don't let Ari tell you otherwise. There is no such thing as an adventurer's hat. That's something he made up. He wears a fedora.
Don't care what you call it, it's still a fedora. What are we fighting? Maenads. Cat people! Monk.
I don't have health! I don't have health!
Oh dear. Well, that was a spectacular failure.
The heck is this thing?
That's my little... Oh, the rock?
Yeah.
There's some sort of plot reason for it. Like these rocks burst up out of the ground and the monsters appeared around them.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
These sorts of games, nobody honestly cares about the plot. Like, what's the plot for Diablo? Diablo is a bad guy, go beat his face.
Yeah, he is the devil, basically.
He is the devil.
That's why he's called Diablo. Like, you can't be the bad guy in that scenario, even if you try real hard.
Yeah.
You're still trying to kill the devil.
Yeah. What about Torchlight? The plot for Torchlight. There is a dungeon under a town. Oh, it's Diablo again.
Is it literally Diablo?
No, it's some sort of evil rock.
An evil rock.
Yeah. Or something like that. Speaking of evil rocks, I'm going to stand on this one. Plunk.
It doesn't look especially evil.
No, it's not.
I feel like I'm not doing any damage.
That's because they're turtles and have a stupid amount of health.
I think it's also because my gear's all garbage.
Yeah, I think we're both kind of starting to suffer from that. Destruction.
Did we miss something at some point? I should have picked a more aggressive school.
Yeah.
Instead of wibbly wobbly purple stuff.
Yeah, pick something more offensively tuned for your second class when we get to that point. Well, we can actually pick our second classes now. We haven't yet.
I don't know. I'm like holding out for this one to miraculously become more aggressive later. When I get higher up the tree.
I think it does, but it's more of a support and control school, the old dream path. Although you can make your little snake thingy quite a boss.
Dung! I just leveled up, but I don't know where to put my points.
Ooh, green staff. Get it? It is shiny. I'm going to take this great helm.
A sec. Staff of Frost. Can I use it? Good heavens, I can use it. It's just... doesn't do very much damage.
And I can actually...
Oh, that's got an extra cold modifier on. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Right.
And now I can equip this stuff. So I don't need that helmet I just picked up.
Throw it on the ground!
Run away!
Right.
What else did I really do this week? That's about it, honestly. It's just been... Yeah. I haven't even had time to play Vidges. Although,
cool.
I did keep picking away at Shadow of War. And last week when I left off, before the show, I was only about 5 minutes away from running into Bruce the Orc. Bruce.
Man, they should have made Black Speech actually Strine. Like,
I don't know. There's actually a scene where Bruce is translating an orc that is speaking Black Speech. Now, Talion, or at least Celebrimbor, the wraith that kind of lives in Talion's corpse, it makes sense in context, sort of, can speak Black Speech. Bruce cannot, though he translates anyway. I just like him. He's such a happy, very friendly character.
it's not what you traditionally associate with orcs.
No,
well, not outside Warhammer anyway.
No, he is an Ocker orc, and I think his crowning moment is when he just up and calls the Nazgul a bunch of bogans.
I might have to play this game.
It is
I've heard a lot of negative things about it, but
I did initially as well. But honestly, now that they've taken out the loot boxes, it's very similar to Shadow of Mordor in a lot of ways.
I kind of want to just support it on that basis. Like, oh well, they had the nous to realise that perhaps it's not a good idea to go all in on this loot box trend.
Yeah.
And maybe we should abort while we still can.
Yeah, if we abort now, we can actually gain something out of it rather than drive everybody away. So the game does get a bit grindy with the fortress control mechanism once that shows up, because you can just go and attack other people's forts, which earn you money and rewards and things, which you can use to upgrade your own fort and rinse and repeat so other people can come and attack your fort again. Bruce, you cannot actually stick on a fort. He's primarily a tutorial character from what I've seen at this point. And he'll tutorialize that whole aspect of the game.
I guess that if you could, though, everybody would put Bruce in their fort.
Oh, I totally would. I'd make him my High Warlord immediately. But you can't. So, because he's sitting there and he's just taking up an officer slot, but I can't actually use him for anything, I'm expecting there to be more story for him, but At this point, I'm kind of chasing a Balrog around because reasons.
Those things are supposed to be rare.
They are. I've been told by a forest that I woke it up, and now it's my problem to deal with it.
Oh, marvelous.
Yeah.
Why are they all chasing me? I'm not doing any damage to them.
I don't know. But yeah, this being Middle-earth, a forest telling you to go and do something isn't particularly out of the ordinary.
For them to tell you so on a non-geological timescale is.
Yes, actually. That is a bit unusual. Golem's turned up briefly, and he's still Golem. I'm not exactly sure where in the timeline the Shadow of War games are supposed to sit, because I think the Ring of Power is gone. But
I think it's supposed to be something like you are in this sort of intervening time period where you are basically suppressing Mordor from taking over the world, sort of thing.
Yeah. I think in this, if the game's escalation is anything to go by between these two games, it's to stop the orcs destroying the world with ham. So, yeah, best bit about Shadow of War.
To win the Emu War.
Only if you take Bruce. Problem is, Bruce just kind of disappears from the story from at the point I'm up to. So he's sitting there, he's taking up an army spot, and I can't do anything with him. And he doesn't seem to be doing anything else. So I'm expecting him. He's supposed to turn up again, I guess, and do a thing. But I have no idea where or when that's going to be. Now, there actually has been an announcement they're going to be releasing a definitive edition of Shadow of War sometime. I think it's early September.
I'm getting so tired of all these editions, though. Can't we just get the real game?
What gets me is
the first time.
I bought the complete collection or gold edition or whatever they called it, which has all of the DLC and all of the content in it, and I got it for $20 on a Steam sale because hey, Steam sales are great. But this definitive edition seems to be exactly what I bought, just with a different hat. So,
it's not gold though.
No, so I don't know what the point is.
Well, maybe the definitive one has a box.
A box.
I don't necessarily mean that in the sense of like putting the box on the back of the box as a feature. I mean like maybe they're selling it in stores.
Yeah, maybe. Instead of just digitally, it could be that. Honestly, I saw it then. I was kind of boggled by it when I looked at the contents of the definitive edition, but I didn't see any. I didn't look too much further into that. Because yeah, this sort of stuff isn't really newsworthy usually, unless we're mocking it for putting the box on the box. So I'm going to give Shadow of War a hearty recommendation at this point. If it still had that loose box shenanigans going on, I'd tell you to steer well clear of it though. Just solely because of loot boxes. What are we fighting? Ichthyans now. Fish peoples. Murlocs. Except Ichia. Because Ichthyans.
Don't quit your day job.
No.
Don't want all this crap. Why do I? Great help.
Oh, that was pointless.
Beads.
I'm not sure if it's just that on multiplayer these turtles have ridiculous amounts of health, or my DPS just kind of sucks at this point.
I think both of us have crappy DPS.
Let's see, agility. I need agility stuff. I'm going to take that helm. See if it's better than what I got.
Cold stuff with fire damage. Great. Not sure exactly how to process that.
Frost Flame? I don't know. That somehow continues to be a thing in fantasy settings.
It's cringe. Right, so
So, one of the best things I love about more modern ARPGs, auto loot.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got troubles. Every part of Greece.
I don't care what your problem is. I'm just going to take your treasure. Bye.
What have you got?
Let me see. He's the enchanter. Pretty sure there is a respec guy, but you don't find him until Athens?
I've just arrived here.
Evidently, I never found him then because I didn't think there was one.
Sorry.
Yeah, there is eventually.
I think you'll find what you're looking for here.
You have a creepy voice, person.
Welcome, welcome. A fine
Sell some junk.
yourself. I'm sure I've got just what you're looking for.
Do I have a better bow, or I'm just stuck with this? No, I think I'm just stuck with what I got.
I sold a bow.
Yeah, it probably wasn't better because.
Oh, it's a strength bow.
Oh, and this guy. La 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 la, Leonidas la.
Everyone.
Extra inventory.
Plot. I don't care because we're here to shoot things. Plunk, plunk, plunk. Oh yeah.
Hey, I completed something.
Something. Oh no.
Oh, these relic things. Every time I play this game, though, I just end up hoarding the relics and not even doing anything with them.
I know, right? I do the same thing with Grim Dawn. The thing is, at least in Grim Dawn, there's a point to it. You can craft them into an artifact you can equip. I'm just going to shoot this satyr in the face. Plunk, plunk, plunk. Oh, right, skill points. Probably should use those. Let me see.
Where did you go? Oh, I see your glowing hands.
Let's see, it's extra pierce damage, inflict bleeding if I use a pointy weapon, or a poison gas bomb. Let me see, that's a buff for bladed weapons. Well, neither of us are using bladed weapons, so that's useless.
Yeah, I kind of wish I was. I put a point in a skill that apparently requires one.
Or I could go down this route and do this. Let me see, so that goes there, that goes there. Suddenly, doggo.
You have a doggo now.
I now have a doggo. Incidentally, what does that make my class? I'm an illusionist. Why?
Doggo.
Is it an illusionary doggo?
So, if I pick another class, do I get points in that class at the same time as I get points in the other one, or do I have to split my points across the two?
You'll have to split your points.
Oh, I sod that. I got enough troubles.
Generally, the way a lot of builds work is you pick one primary one and you kind of max that out and pick all the abilities you want out of that and use the secondary to support it.
I see.
But that said, that's not a set in stone rule. You can pretty much just build however you want. Right, so now I have Doggo. Doggo is just sitting there. Doggo is not very good at doggoing.
I haven't put more than 1 point in anything yet. I don't know if I'm supposed to put more than 1 point in things.
You are.
I feel like I'm doing something wrong if I don't max out my mastery.
It'll get you the late game abilities faster if you do that.
Right. Though I may have to put points in something because I'm much damage. You're pretty much carrying the lion's share of the work here, and I'm just supplying the aura. I feel like a paladin.
But you look good while doing it. I'm just plunking away with my bow. And now my doggo.
I've got a weird flying eyeball.
And you've kind of got purple wobbly vortex thingies all over the place. I have no idea what you're doing, but it's wobbly.
Yeah, I'm a lot better than you at looking like I'm contributing.
Yes.
That's my special skill.
Endurance pants, energy. Energy is actually pretty much useless to me at this point, so anything your energy is for you.
Yeah, but I would rather have intelligence points.
Yeah, but you need that mana
That
bar.
increases my regen.
Yeah.
Shrine of Experience.
Incidentally, I can see your eyeball and not you. What is going on here? Or are you under all those purple wobblies?
I'm on the screen. I don't think I'm under purple wobblies. I'm usually next to my eyeball.
Yeah, you're invisible now. Why?
I don't have a skill for that.
What is going on here?
I don't know.
Oop. So you should be kind of there, I think. Oh, yeah, your eyeball just vanished.
Can you like help instead of that? Use the minimap to work out where I am, or perhaps the train of monsters.
There's something really weird going on here.
So are the monsters just not chasing anybody to you?
No, they are. They seem to be attacking nothing, though.
I see.
Ooh, agility beads. And you're just leaving this kind of trail of destabilized bits of ancient Greece behind you. And it's kind of weird. Maybe the game's about to crash again, who knows?
So, what else did you do in your week?
That's about it, honestly. Just kind of marveled at the graceness that is Bruise the Orc. I hope they don't kill him. That would be bad.
The game is basically made with the intention of being edgy. The odds of Bruce surviving for especially long are not great.
No. Although I've asked people about Bruise the Orc in the past, and they just go kind of quiet. So I'm...
Oh
no, something's horrible is going to happen to Bruise. The people who have played the game, I don't want you to spoil it, but please tell me that something horrible doesn't happen to Bruise. I love Bruise. He's awesome.
Did you ever finish the story of Heavensward?
I did not. I need to go and finish that.
Right. Well, yeah. Let's just say I was traumatized. I really do think that game is an indictment against all those people who say it's impossible to do storytelling. No.
Yeah. Between that and SWTOR, except SWTOR kind of ruined everything else.
I mean, sure, Final Fantasy is heavy-handed and you have to watch a lot of cutscenes, but the story is still there and you still feel like you have a meaningful role to play.
Mm-hmm. Let me
and
see.
Trahearne is nowhere to be found.
There is also no Trahearne. According to the mini-map, you should be right next to me. So let's go this way. Ooh, spitters.
So
I guess,
week. What am I doing my week?
You broke your curse, is what you did.
Yes, I did. I broke my gacha curse. Well, that depends on your point of view, I suppose, because it might just be that I'm being stalked by my waifu.
Yeah.
That's sort of her idea of recreation.
Yes.
But,
everybody's favourite little Yandere snake. Priestess thing.
But, so yeah, I decided the Kiyohime banner came up yesterday, and I allocated to it 19 tickets and 3 10-pulls. Because I wanted to get something.
You wanted
to actually get something.
You wanted to get best snack.
I wanted to get best snack. But, so the tickets basically netted me nothing. Like, at all. And a lot of copies of the 4-star craft essence for the event. Not enough to actually max it out, because that would be useful. But still 4 copies of it. And not much of anything else, really. few copies of Caesar, which was handy because my Caesar had low rank Noble Phantasm. But yeah, so that didn't get me very far. First 10 pull didn't get me very far at all. Second 10 pull, I got Rama, which is a relief because I had no idea what I was going to do about Lancer bosses. You just left the game.
Yes, I did. It was doing even more weird things. I was doing a little dance on top of the loot instead of picking it up.
I see.
So it's one thing not being able to see your fellow players, but being able to not pick up loot in this game is unthinkable.
Yeah, that's pretty much killer for the genre.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the second one did have Rama. Rama's a single target Noble Phantasm saber, specializes against demons, of which there are a decent number in the upcoming content. Not so much in Camelot, but in Babylonia it's mostly demons, I think. Not really sure about that. On account I haven't gotten there yet. But so I think that he's going to be. I'd say he's probably like a solid B, maybe A, low A tier saber overall. So very, very serviceable, much more useful than Gawain. I'm relatively happy with that.
That's not hard, let's face it.
Yeah, Gawain's not great. And it gives me a solution to some of the impending problems that I was concerned about, such as having nothing with class advantage over the final boss of Camelot, which was going to really, really wreck me, since the only high tier support that I have personally is Tamamo, who's only good at arts teams, and I don't have an arts saber. Well, I've got Ghidorah, but
it's Ghidorah.
Yeah. There is a video online. I didn't watch it, but I saw it posted. There is a video of somebody soloing the final boss of Camelot with Ghidorah.
Oh my.
Ghidorah at level 100 with everything maxed.
Okay.
Because somebody did that.
Somebody hates themselves, I guess.
For some reason. I guess they're just a big fan of the cultist. But
I guess. Ugh, what is this game doing now? Oh no, there it goes.
Know.
I think it's working. Maybe. Titan Quest, I love you, but your code is spaghetti.
But yeah, so that was the second 10 pull. That was the only useful thing I got from it. I've got, out of all of the pulls that I did, skipping to the end, I got no good craft essences. None.
Yeah.
Not one. Which was unbelievably disappointing. But it was hard to be too disappointed, because in my last 10 pull, I pulled Kiyohime Lancer not once but twice. That is a boss. I am going to retreat.
Drop your portal, please.
That reminds
It's actually thrown me all the way back to town.
There's a portal open, and I need help.
I'm a coming. I'm a portalin'.
I think
There
the
is
boss is still
stuff.
facing- The boss is just up here.
Okay.
It's a boss of sorts.
Doggo. What are we dealing with here? I forget what was up here.
A bunch of angry things.
Oh,
And Greg-
hello. It's
Grekloth the Graveless.
the Graveless. Yes. Behold my boring ability of plunking.
Oh my goodness, I'm getting wrecked here.
There's mages everywhere.
I would love to be able to do something about that, but I don't do any damage, so...
Yeah, you might want to sink some points into those abilities.
But that's not cool!
I know, right? Get him, doggo. No, my doggo!
Doom!
Dong.
Finally leveled up.
We have no treasure because this boss is incredibly stingy. That's actually probably something pretty good for you.
Hold on. I need to waste all my points by putting one in each skill that just became available. I don't even know what that does, but I'm putting a point in it.
Okay. Come forth, my doggo.
Ooh, that's probably a wibbly wobbly skill. Just need to assign it to a button so that I can see how it wibble wobbles things.
Okay.
Let's see.
Clunk.
Put that there. Assign skill there. What's the cooldown on that anyway? 12 seconds. Cooldown on this one. 7 seconds.
Okay, so you get something into your long cooldown wibbly wobblies.
Right. Whoops. That wasn't meant to happen.
Treasure! Lack of treasure!
Potions. Anyway, so I've pulled Kirihime twice, which is 2 is the sort of the ideal number because you don't want to farm for more than that unless you're a whale. And
Yeah.
the second copy, shall we say, of a servant gives you the biggest boost to their noble phantasm. So 2 is sort of like an ideal number unless you like the sort of person who would get 5 on a single pull.
Is that even possible?
Yeah, so yes, it is.
Ugh.
But yeah, not for me, but
No.
for other people.
Not for a normal person.
But yeah, so I have broken the curse and actually managed to procure something that I want for once,
Yep.
which is equal parts terrifying and gratifying.
Your waifu
Um,
is stalking you.
Yeah, it's sort of creepy.
That's,
I never
that's
wanted to be one of
Kirihime.
those. I never wanted to be one of those waifu people, but this one won't leave me alone.
Again, that's Kirihime.
Yeah, it's sort of in character. But yeah, it's I'm very, very happy about that because it gives me Kirihime is not useful to me in the conventional sense.
Mhm.
Because she's basically another single target lancer
Oh,
who
that's
does
a
that
bow.
job really well.
That's a boss.
But yeah, it's she'll give me a solution to some of the archer bosses, and she'll be able to show gazers the door and that sort of thing.
Anything that can
She's
beat
not-
down a gazer is okay in my books.
She's not like a remarkably powerful servant, but she's a very, very solid single target buster lancer because being Kirihime, she gets to retain madness enhancement while a lancer, which is unusual, but that makes her 10% stronger than her stats suggest. So even though her stats are a bit mediocre to bad, the flat 10% increase to all the damage that her buster cards do offsets that pretty handily.
Mm.
So I can now put people in the bell and burn them. So yeah, that was fortunate. The second half of the summer event will be happening very, very shortly.
Yep. Something horrible is going to happen.
Yep. I don't know what though. I don't know where the story is going, but yeah. The story events thus far have all been increasingly silly as time has gone on, and I didn't even build any of Mordred's suggestions.
I have, and my island's starting to look more like a heavy metal cover album. Like album cover, rather.
Yeah, I had the selectable dialogue option offer Fu up as a sacrifice.
You what?
Yes.
Okay, I thought minecart races and using noble phantasms on watermelons was silly.
Yeah, well, basically, I built Kirihime's suggestion of a house,
Oh dear.
and she went in to get the bedroom ready for me, and then asked me to come in, and it was very clear that she was in the futon, so I had the option offer Fu up as a sacrifice. And
That won't
so
appease
I
her for
offered
long.
I offered Fu up as a sacrifice and disappeared while Fu got molested.
But Fu is a little fluffy white dog thingy.
I don't think Kirihime is that fussy or observant.
Or observant, yes. I might actually use this
But,
spear as a second weapon. Pointed thing.
Yeah, lots of lots of silly events, quite amusing. I laughed out loud on the bus a couple times because something absurd had happened. The fourth wall was in tatters.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I pulled something I never intended
Oh,
to.
hello. That's another prince. I forgot there were princes all through here, and that they are angry. Where'd my doggo go? Come back, doggo. Stop just randomly dropping dead, doggo.
Yeah, so that's me having blown 90 of my Saint Quartz on Kirihime.
You
The
do
rest
have a
is
lot,
pretty
at
much
least.
the rest is pretty much earmarked to get Summer Martha, except I'll probably try and conserve a little bit for Prisma Ilia. Although I'm a bit in two minds about that because Ilia's famous for avoiding people who are rolling on her.
Yeah.
You know, even people with regular luck.
Yeah.
And her rate up is not going to dramatically improve your odds of getting it.
No.
And I've just
Even though
used
it's-
up a huge pile of my luck.
Even though it says she's a rate up, it's lying.
Yeah, rate up as a lie is like the most common meme in the FGO community.
Yes.
But yeah, is that thing shooting arrows at us?
Yeah, that's an annoying trap thingy.
I do no damage. Like for
I'm
serious.
gonna just stop. Oh dear.
Your poison does more damage than my actual attack does.
Yeah, we need to get you some more points in those abilities.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how much I'll save for Prisma Ilia. I'll probably have to content myself with one copy of Martha if I get one, and not try and be clever.
I have to say though, watching her in the event, Saint Martha in ruler form, not particularly saintly.
Well, that's her shtick though, is that she actually is saintly. It's just that she doesn't realise that she would be a lot more naturally saintly if she stopped worrying about whether or not she was a saint.
Yes.
That's her sort of her issue. But oh, I got a staff. Is it a good staff? No, it's not a good staff. It's not a good staff. The heck are those?
Demon dogs. But not the demon dog because they've only got 2 heads.
So they're authors.
Yes.
That bat is fat and green and has an orange name and a star.
And a
What does
star.
that mean?
It's a star underneath it rather than on top of it. Because reasons, I guess.
Thankfully, it's dying
And it is dead.
because you actually. I'm pretty sure my pet does more damage than I do.
I think it does, actually. Proficiency, eh? Yoink.
I'm filled with shame.
Defensive ability. Boo.
Yeah, so the gacha was beneficent and bestowed upon me 2 copies of Stalker Waifu.
So now,
Just-
how is it going to tear you down and kick you?
Yeah, and I'm sort of worried about that part of things. the other shoe that is yet to drop. But I'm hoping it's just, oh, well, the curse is broken and I will now return to my regularly scheduled programming.
Just default luck again.
Yeah, like
That would
normal
be
person
nice.
life. I still haven't pulled any 5 stars. I'm still
Yeah.
below the curve on that by a hefty margin, but yeah, it's not unreasonable now where it was before. Where
Yeah.
I was pulling well below the number of 4 stars and 5 stars I should have. I was rather surprised this time at how few craft essences I got, though. I got a lot of trash servants, a disproportionate number of trash servants, but I didn't get any good. Craft essences at all.
Yeah.
Let alone let alone like the really top tier ones.
Since I got that
and I didn't-
kaleidoscope, I've only really gotten trash craft essences.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a really good craft essence since probably the weak version of Kaleidoscope. Like that's about the best that I've got, other than Formal Craft, which I got really early on, which I suppose cursed me from then on.
Yep.
Although Formal Craft is really good for Shiki.
Yes.
Particularly if you're using her as a damage funnel for Tamamo, which I am whenever I get the opportunity. Like Shiki with Tamamo as backup, just complete, and with Kentoki as well. If Kentoki's handy, just completely demolishes those demon pillars. But
Nice. Hang on, I think there was something we missed over here.
I'm still trying to work out where you are. Oh, there you are.
Beasts and menus.
Oh, it's just some guy saying
What's this?
this is the shortcut to Athens, but it's broken, so you got to go take the long way around. Ha.
That's not very sporting.
No, it's not.
We haven't revealed much of the map over here, actually.
No.
But
Okay,
was that a quest that we just completed or anything?
maybe.
Oh yes, bring news of your victory to Autolycus in Megara.
Okay, so we got to go back to town then.
It's a side quest, but it's XP,
Oop.
and I need to level up so I can get more points. But yeah, so we'll leave the FGO there. I'm curious as to what the new event, well, the second half of the event will be. Don't have a clue.
Everything is going to go horribly wrong, or
Well,
it's going to go completely idiotic.
Well, unimportant spoilers. You finish part 1 by sailing off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be fine. You do not, however, see you returning to Chaldea or anything like that.
No.
So the story is clearly not over. But yeah. So what else? In what little time I had, I played some more of the Shining Resonance, and more or less it's been true to form in the sense that it's basically like the waifu edition of a Tales game.
Yeah.
It is a remaster. It does, is really showing its age, because it was never a particularly technologically impressive JRPG to begin with, but it looks serviceable enough. It's got a few nice little touches in it though, like the battle fanfare music changes depending on the instruments used by the Dragonaires you have in your party, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I like that.
I don't really know if I like the core mechanic that much in general terms though, because it revolves a little bit too heavily around the main character, because he can turn into a dragon. That's his thing. And basically things depend pretty heavily on propping that up and preventing him from going insane while a dragon.
Okay.
But the thing is that the dragon is he's sort of OP under most regular circumstances, and he's OP against normal enemies. Against bosses though, unless the boss is also a dragon. What?
This is probably a good place to head back, because I know what's on the other side of that bridge.
Good, because I don't. It's not going to be Polyphemus, is it?
Maybe.
But
It's totally Polyphemus.
right. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, unless the enemy is also like a dragon-sized enemy, turning into a dragon just makes it really awkward to maneuver. Because you get in the way, and you're awkward to move. You move really slowly unless you're dashing. Your abilities all activate really slowly. Like, the dragon isn't actually fun to use. That's the thing. It's powerful, but it's not fun. It's just sort of a little bit awkward, and you feel kind of obliged to use it sometimes when fights get... There are certain fights that are like, oh yeah, I can see what they're doing here. They really want me to turn into a dragon, because I'm going to get completely wrecked if I don't. Like, that's... Yeah, I understand. I do. I'm just not happy about it. And that's pretty much how it goes. Yeah, so I have mixed feelings about it, but it is still more or less holding the car in the road as a one metric JRPG.
Just
Which,
nice,
as I've
generic, middle of the road JRPG.
Trouble us no more.
You know, which is, as I've said before, is often what I'm looking for. The fly in the ointment, to the extent that there is one, I would say is probably that I can't say that I would definitely be rather playing this than a Neptunia game.
Yeah.
But that's partly because I have an inordinate fondness for Neptunia games.
I think the game's playing up again.
Is it?
You seem to be
Vanished?
stuck on a peasant.
Am I?
Or something.
Oh dear.
Yes,
Because I'm sort of running around on my screen.
yeah, those peasants are rather sticky, it seems.
Ew.
I'm just going to wait for you back at the bridge.
Right. I'm trying to determine if. Can you get? Do the vendors ever actually sell good stuff? Like, is that a thing that can happen?
Rarely. Usually, I think they're just there to just sell your junk. Oh, there you go. You're moving
Right,
around.
because I don't really do much with the dosh that I get.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Is there a repair system? Have I been like not repairing my gear and I need to?
Nope.
Oh, good.
Follow these
So
guys,
it's-
otherwise they get themselves killed.
Yeah, that's my job.
Rawr.
Roar.
Okay, well that
Hey,
guy's
he
going to
can
get
bring
himself
weapons
killed anyway.
As well.
Oh, he's not coming out? Oh, alright. Told you it was Polyphemus. No! My plunking, leave me alone. Ow. Uh-oh. Not good, not good.
Heal you thyself.
I are dead.
My eyeball's tanking him like a boss. No, my eyeball's not successfully tanking him like a boss. Everything is terrible. Come back. Please come back.
Where's the portal? Portal's back here. Why is the portal all the way back here? Where is this going to drop us?
Tell him to stop stunning me, please.
It's sent me all the way back over there. Okay, I got to hoof it. The last little bit.
I got killed.
That's okay. I think the soldiers will tank him for a bit.
Did you open a portal?
I will right now. Boop.
I need to actually find the way gate. I have no idea where it is.
Head south from where you respawn. Oh, he all the soldiers are dead, but he's not regenerating his health. So I might just drop a portal a little bit closer. Oh no, you're back. There we go. Go get him, doggo. Doggo's not getting him.
Why is he chasing me?
Because he just stunned me straight out the door because I derped and didn't dodge the... No, doggo! There we go. And he dropped squat.
The Static Cyclops Club of Quickness.
Yay.
Majestic chest.
I'm just going to take that health potion because I'm running out now. Let me see. Life, destruction... Ooh, an agility ring. 2 and agility beads. Yoink. That's an upgrade. And that's also a straight upgrade. Marvellous.
Ah, none of this stuff is any good.
Yeah. See, that's the problem with that. I think with JRPG, not JRPGs, ARPGs. You get a lot of loot, but little of it is actually worthwhile. Like there is an entire layer which cannot be seen of loot here because I've got it disabled, so it's not even showing the grey quality stuff.
Yeah. So the other thing about Shining Resonance is it follows the tradition of JRPGs that basically you can steamroll everything you run into, and then you come up against a boss, and he puts his sword where the sun don't shine.
Yep.
In a completely unprecedented difficulty spike immediately after the tutorial. So yeah, there's a rough boss. Guy by the name of, and this is sort of spoilers for the second chapter of the game, guy by the name of Genus, Jinas, but for some reason I can't stop hearing him as Genist. Because
is he the best Genist?
I maybe. There don't seem to be very many around.
No, they're not.
But yeah, it does have some pretty hefty difficulty spikes for what's ostensibly an easy game. But yeah, that's, as I've said before, there's not really much to talk about because it's not a very special game. It's a diversion for people who just like JRPGs in general. I don't know if it'll become really great. There's a lot of slightly derpy aspects to the story, particularly like the bad guys are, the church, but there doesn't seem to be a reason for them to be the church, and them being the church doesn't make any sense either.
It's just to tell them what kind of hat they have to wear.
It doesn't even do that.
Oh dear.
The thing, there's no uniform. There is sort of like a decent number of them have some sort of vaguely cross-shaped emblem on their armor somewhere, but there's no consistency with that either. The thing is that there's an evil empire, right? Because there's always an evil empire.
Always an evil empire.
But the only people, apart from the Crown Princess, that you ever see from the evil empire are Knights of the Church. And so them being the church is completely redundant to them being soldiers of the evil empire, because they are all the soldiers of the evil empire you ever see.
That's all they do.
And they appear to have direct command of the rank and file soldiers of the evil empire. They don't have their own church soldiers or anything.
So they're effectively the evil empire army, just for the work for the church.
And another thing, like ostensibly according to the background materials, as the church, they are basically, I think that the idea is they worship dragons or something. But the entire plot revolves around desecrating dragon souls.
Okay.
So that doesn't seem very religious.
Are you doing the desecrating, or are they?
No, they are. Like, that's their whole shtick. That's what they're using to fuel their war machine.
Right.
Because the idea is that dragon souls behave strangely on death, and they tend to crystallize in some form or another. And the Empire worked out a way to jam these souls back into bodies, and then to use them as superpowered monsters,
because
or something like that. Well, because they're locked in a stalemate with the allied kingdoms of Astoria and Welland in the generic War of Conquest. But they're trying to break the deadlock by devising a super weapon that will give them the edge they need. But nothing about them being the church makes sense. So I think that it's just like it's a narrative beat that they have to have with the church, and the church has to be evil. This doesn't seem to actually tie into any other aspect of the story at all.
Right. Ooh, Beast Caller's beads. What do these do? Makes Doggo stronger. Doggo can be stronger.
Why are we still getting level 3 gear? This was one of my big complaints with Titan Quest, is that you get the worst gear forever.
Yeah.
Like,
You'll just get utter garbage for the longest time.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to ever stop dropping things that is useless.
Yeah.
But, what else did I do this week, if anything? Not really sure. Did I watch any new anime? I don't think I did. I've just been keeping up with the usual stuff. And none of them have moved too far out of their groove. If they were bad, then they continue to be bad. If they're good, then they continue to be good. But just there are lots of shows that I enjoy watching this season. Well, lots is probably an overstatement. There are some shows that I enjoy watching this season, but there are just no great ones. Like,
Yeah.
There are some that are watchable, but there's none that are like, oh man, this is really cool. I can't wait for the next episode. Not really.
Nah.
Honestly, the one that comes closest to that is probably the beach volleyball one,
Ugh.
because there's sort of a natural built-in tension to sports shows.
Yep.
Because you don't know if they're going to win their next set or whatever, and then they break for the next episode.
Yeah.
So there's a certain amount of built-in tension, but a lot of the others are just like, actually, I don't care all that. These characters
boring.
I'm not really that fond of them. Yeah, it's disappointing. There's just not much that I've found that's really good. I need to sort of dig into the back catalogue a little bit and find out what else is going on that I've missed, because I just don't have time to check out as many shows as I used to.
Yeah.
But,
I've got a lot
there's
of
also shows
catalogue to deal with, but I don't know where to start on it. It's just that monolithic.
Yeah, but there's also shows that I don't want to watch because I'm a hipster. Like, what's the screen?
Shiny.
It's a sword.
It's a Falcata. Let's see. Physical damage, reduction to enemies' health, offensive ability. It's kind of useless for both of us, I think.
Let's see. Requires player level 18, strength 105.
At least it's not level 3.
It's true, powerful, but we can't use it.
Yeah.
What was I talking about?
Go to Grumpy Face.
I've lost my train of thought.
Bad anime.
I saw loot drop.
Ooh, loot.
Yeah. So I'm a sort of a hipster about certain things, and that there's certain things mostly involves anime like ReZero, which everybody gushes about and continues to gush about and continues to talk about the waifu potential of the characters.
Yeah,
and so forth.
just as soon as it becomes that kind of the waifu anime, I'm gone. I want nothing to do with it.
Well, the thing is, it's regarded generally quite positively in as far as isekai shows can be.
Yep.
Which is surprising, but the thing with that is, it's even if it's good, I know it's going to contain a lot of sort of uncomfortable, stereotypical story beats from a waifu isekai.
Yeah.
And
not to mention that time travel tends to happen a bit.
If it's a very sort of like the story's supposed to be, it takes itself seriously, and that's I think, unless your premise is very creative, I think taking yourself seriously in an isekai is just a mistake nowadays.
Yeah, like Konosuba is not a very good show on the surface, but it works because everyone's a dickhead.
It's like, what if instead of Mary Sue's, everybody was just a complete disaster?
Buffs.
But yeah, I sort of like, I want to watch it because it's held to be very good, but I don't want to watch it because I know what its content contains, and it contains waifu wars and a whole bunch of sort of generally sort of trashy story concepts.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not, I don't know. It's unfair of me to judge it without seeing it like that, but it's got all of those sort of like typical hallmarks of something that is just a bit cringy.
Yep.
And I have a low threshold for cringe.
Yeah. It's what makes E3 such a slog every year.
Yeah, and I'm like, and as is abundantly clear at this point, you know, I'm a person who will happily watch a anime about beach volleyball.
Yeah.
And a lot of the isekai stuff is still too cringy for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Just yuck.
Yeah, it can often be very yuck.
Yeah. Like, what have we got?
Clear
There's a
this-
bunch of new isekai which look anywhere between bad and just dishwater. There's a couple of romantic. There's a couple of sports anime for badminton of all things. It's just a very underwhelming season. Very underwhelming.
Yeah. The heck, what slot does that even go in?
What did you find?
Oh, it's just a. It was a chess piece. It's just that it's a chess. It was a chess piece that took up less slots than normal. And I was like, what even is that?
Yeah,
And it was just a really bad chess piece.
that's the way Titan Quest works. For some reason, you got 3 levels of chess piece, kind of a light, a medium, and a heavy. And yeah, they take up different levels of inventory space depending on their rank.
Right. I need to go back to town. Have any space.
Except robes seem to take up the most inventory space of all.
You would think you could fold them.
You'd think so, but no.
Maybe they'll wrinkle if you do that.
Maybe. So yeah.
It's a pretty disappointing season all around. I'm just not really thrilled with anything. Most of the isekai stuff makes me cringe. Overlord has been very good this season.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, since you don't really see much of the main characters.
Well, I think the last season showed us that some of these isekai, if you take out the main character, they improve immensely. Cough, cough, sword art online.
Generally speaking, I feel like they're transitioning towards an ensemble cast rather than focusing exclusively on the denizens of Nazarick, and I think it's generally benefiting from that. I think that it's become a much more sort of credible world, and they've put a lot more focus this time round on the fact that Momonga doesn't have a clue.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of him retroactively coming up with ideas for why he did things that he clearly hadn't thought of at the time.
So that's the thing I found with Overlord, is the premise to me just seemed a lot better suited for a comedy than a drama.
Well, the thing is that it plays out like a comedy most of the time.
Yeah.
In practice, it doesn't try to be dramatic most of the time. It does once in a while, and when it changes tone, it's very effective because it changes tone. Whereas most of the other stuff is just sort of like goofing off with various levels of cringe. But yeah, I think that show's worked itself out pretty well and continues to do so. And it doesn't always do it in a very typical way, but it seems to accomplish what it's trying to do.
Yep. Okay, now how do I use... I just got a thingy. I bought a thingy. How do I use this thingy?
What did you buy?
A spell scroll. I think I just wasted it, though. Yeah, I think I just wasted it.
What? I don't know what a spell scroll is, much less how you wasted it.
Yeah, I just wasted it. It's a scroll that you use to cast a certain spell. Just a powerful spell. I wasn't sure how I used it. I accidentally used it. So that was a waste of money. And this is how we learn. Why would you do this?
What, by putting your face into it?
Yes.
Right, I think.
But that's fine because money in this game is largely worthless anyway.
I do have unspent points, and so I'm going to dump them in intelligence as usual until I have a good reason not to. I'm going to regret that sooner or later because I've never put any points into energy or health.
How do I improve
I'm gonna die.
my doggo?
Oh, you're going to go the doggo improvement route, are you?
I might just go for that for nature, and just bring doggo. So
I see.
I have a bow and I'm a WoW hunter, which means I take all the loot now.
I see. I'm not sure what to do with my points. I should put my points in something that I can use that will make me powerful. But I'm not really...
Powerful, eh?
Well, I'm not really sure how... What amplifying what skill will make me more effective at, like, doing anything at all.
Your left-click replacer is usually a good place to start.
Right, yeah, but there's 3 skills associated with it, or something like that.
Oh.
So maybe I should just dump them all into my left clicks, since that's like the lion's share of my damage, but I don't know which of the skills is going to Mostly slow. That's a dot associated with it. That's sort of like AoE-ish. No, what I need is more damage up front that works on bosses, so that I don't do nothing against a boss.
Yeah. So your basic pew pew might be the way to go, just to start with.
Yeah, I'll put a few points in my basic pew pew and see if I can actually see enemy but health bars move at that point. But yeah, I'm deeply disappointed in the current anime season, which is not to say that there aren't things that I enjoy watching, but it's mitigated a little bit by the fact that most of that stuff I won't remember.
Yeah.
It's not worth remembering. It's not great. I mean,
it's
My
just
Hero Academia is still great,
Oh yeah.
but
We don't count
most
that
of
among
the
this
new
season,
stuff-
though.
most of the seasonal stuff is exceptionally poor, and that's like the thing that hipsters always say, right? Anime hipsters. I don't know why that concept exists, but it does. But the what they always say is that seasonal anime is trash, but anime has to be seasonal before it becomes classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not particularly pleased with this season. I'm glad I didn't bother to look too in depth with it, because there's nothing to find except more cringe. That's been my experience. But yeah, I don't think I've got much more to talk about on that count.
Yeah.
I did spend some time trying to follow up on the World of Warcraft story again, because like I mentioned last time, a lot of the stuff doesn't make sense, and it turns out the reason it doesn't make sense is because it actually doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
The writing is bad is the reason.
Yeah.
And so they've released this really, really good cinematic.
I think that's actually the opening for the expansion. I have to have a
Nobody knows that that's true, because it is entirely possible that instead of that, it is actually somewhere else, because we've seen the main cinematic already, and it's the big battle out front of Lordaeron.
Oh right. This one's kind of set just before that.
Rather than a 6-minute long character piece. And that's the thing, though, right? It's a 6-minute long character piece, which is something they've never done before. Almost invariably, they spend all their time trying to be epic TM, and the end result of trying to be epic TM all the time is that you have absolutely no depth.
Yeah, well,
You're
the
just
epic
Michael Bay.
Yeah, epic TM kind of works good for just the hype of an opening cinematic. That's fine, but it doesn't really convey anything.
It's not necessarily a great use of resources either. Like, as a promotional tool, I think that they're very, very hit and miss. But
Where'd you go?
In this case, they've done a really good character piece centered largely on Xiaofang. But while the piece in and of itself is quite good, it rides on the back of basically what I consider to be failed writing in every other respect. So it's sort of hard to be happy about it. It's how do I say? Like, I feel like the sacrifice in order to allow this story to happen has been the entirety of Sylvanas' character.
Yeah.
So that was the cost. That was the cost for them to learn to do character writing for one cinematic ever. Is that now Sylvanas basically doesn't exist. Like, the character of Sylvanas does not exist anymore. There is just this sort of like comically evil character, and she is comically evil. Like, from what I can tell, as a person who is not playing but is watching the media that comes out surrounding the game, in every imaginable situation in the recent story, she has chosen exclusively to take the action that is the most for the evils.
Yeah.
And doesn't make any sense. Like, she's perfectly willing to sacrifice her plans to do something cartoonishly evil. Like, murder a bunch of civilians that she wasn't planning to murder, thereby losing the support of one of her most important political supporters, and completely screwing over her own plans to bring the Night Elves into the fold. She didn't even resurrect them as undead or anything. She just, burned them all because.
Just
like,
because.
Yeah, just because. Literally because somebody with their dying breath said, one of these days you're going to lose, basically.
Yeah.
And she decided to throw a tantrum and say, oh, no, I can destroy all life, I can destroy all hope, watch me burn this tree that I was trying to salvage down.
Yeah.
Like, she's just, any time she has the opportunity to do something clever or do something dumb, she does something dumb.
Mm-hmm.
The only time she ever does anything that isn't strictly evil is if it's even stupider than it would be evil to do the opposite.
Yeah.
But they have not given her the idiot ball, they have transformed her into the idiot ball. Like, all actions that happen surrounding her command are immediately stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have erased entirely her character in favour of being super, super dumb. Like, it's really, really depressing to anybody who, like, my first character that I played WoW properly as, like, that I actually did anything other than roll a character and walk around Elwyn Forest. Like, when I sat down to actually play World of Warcraft, my first character was a Forsaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I played for a very long time as a Forsaken.
Yep,
And
as did I.
You get
Also
very
Orc.
attached. And people who are playing even longer than I as a Forsaken, like, some of them are as fanatically devoted to the Banshee Queen as their in-universe counterparts are.
Yeah. Thankfully
so-
for me, Forsaken was, I want to play a Troll Warlock, but I can't.
Yeah, well,
Because
at
Troll's
any
a
rate,
superior race.
the whole thing is very, very depressing because that person, the Banshee Queen, doesn't exist anymore.
No, she's the idiot queen
Like,
now.
she's just a cut rate version of the sort of the Lich King as at the end of Wrath of the Lich King, where he basically has no personality anymore. Like, in Warcraft 3, the Lich King was Arthas still.
Yep.
By the time you kill him, he wasn't Arthas anymore. He was just this guy on a throne who
Yeah.
roars at you.
But that character progression made sense.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Sylvanas, like, the best explanation for Sylvanas's actions is basically the old standby of she's gone mad. Like, except in this case, it's like, oh, well, she's been an undead so long that she just basically doesn't understand the behaviour or reactions of living creatures anymore. Like, and it's not a good explanation, but it is basically the only one available anymore, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Because she's behaving in ways that are strictly unfavourable to her along every axis, be they tactical, political, diplomatic,
Whatever.
like general survival.
Yes.
Anything you choose to assess as a benchmark for sound action, she fails at.
Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for them to come out with some dumb plot twist like, it's old gods. Never mind that the law's already stated that it can't be old gods in this case, it's still old gods.
Yeah, there were so many dangling plot threads that have just been brutally severed if it goes the way it looks like they've gone with it. Like, they could have some, cringy and nonsensical excuse for why things aren't as bad as they look. But that would be cringy and nonsensical, which is not actually an improvement.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to end up with Zombie Vol'jin as the leader at the end of this, as the war chief? Ooh, that is really nice.
He was cremated.
Yeah, but that doesn't really mean anything. This is the Warcraft universe, after all. Okay, he'll be probably Ghost Lower Vol'jin.
Well, all of the stuff that, like, Vol'jin could have appointed Saurfang leader of the Horde, and that would have avoided this whole debacle.
But he didn't, because the Lower told him not
He
to.
didn't. Yeah, he had a good reason not to, and we are not privy to what that good reason is. And I'm starting to think that it's like the plot of Lost.
Ugh. Smoke demons.
In that, well, the thing is that they didn't know what the smoke monster was.
Did they ever actually solve that?
No, they explicitly came out and said afterwards that none of the puzzles you thought you were solving had solutions because we hadn't got them yet.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I never really liked Lost, and now I know explicitly why.
Yeah, it's like they expressly wrote the story to look like there were mysteries to solve, that if you picked up enough clues, you could come up with a reasonable theory, and then like solve the puzzle. And then after it was all over, they came out and said, "Hardy ha ha ha."
There were no answers after all.
There were no answers after all. We just made things up as we went along and did whatever we pleased.
Trollolololololol.
So yeah, that's what it boils down to, really.
I really
I think,
hope that there is some point behind all of this stupidity going on in the WoW storyline at the moment. Like, are they deliberately just burning everything down and going to hit the big reset button or something? I don't know.
they cycle horde leaders so quickly. It's bizarre and disheartening.
Yeah. Like I would have loved to have Vol'jin as the leader for at least one expansion, because you spent more time doing stuff with Vol'jin.
Like, why make Sylvanas the leader of the Horde? Like, narratively, if you're the writer, why make Sylvanas the leader of the Horde? In order to just have her commit one atrocity?
I guess.
Because that's the only thing she's done is burn Teldrassil.
Pretty much.
And if you happen to read the corollary material, I mean, she commits a couple of other atrocities as well, but they're all aimed at facilitating the existence of this expansion. But she was the war chief for an entire other expansion, and then never did a darn thing with it.
Just sat
Why
there,
not?
really. Is it? And yeah, okay, you can point some of that as the Legion was happening, but that only goes so far.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed, and largely I'm not impressed because I actually did think that her character was interesting. Like, she was the one character that they had who wasn't just, a straight up cardboard cutout.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could make an argument for Jaina as well, but Jaina sort of transitioned between different cardboard cutouts rather than actually having any complexity.
There's also there is reasons why Jaina's doing the things she's doing. Some of them are pretty dumb reasons, but they're reasons.
But in the case of Sylvanas, like, they had this horribly conflicted character who her issues were not issues that anybody else wrestled with. Like, in that sense, I guess you could argue that they aren't relatable for a player, but like, her big problem was that she's terrified of dying. She doesn't want to die under any means.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Like, she doesn't want her existence to end. Even though being undead is torture, it's better than what she thinks is lying in wait for her on the other side. So she's got to stay alive. She has to preserve her people because they're her shield against death. Her people can't procreate. This is a huge problem.
Yep.
Like, she's got a lot of interesting issues, and all that has been completely thrown away to turn her into this sort of supervillain.
Yeah. So is she going to end up as the big bad of this expansion?
She had better not.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people who will just riot and leave in that case.
Oh, yeah. It's sad. They've burned through all of the good villains, but instead of coming up with the good one, a new villain,
Splendid.
they're starting to turn the good guys into villains as well. Or good-ish guys, in the case of Sylvanas.
Well, I would, at this point, I think that the loss of Sylvanas is such a massive loss for the story as a whole that I would accept a really crappy reason why things weren't as they seemed. Because I don't think they can afford to lose her. There aren't any other interesting leaders left.
Nope.
Like,
Starfang
they
is
never
really as just an ascended meme, honestly.
Yeah. Like, the Saurfang that people love is a creation of the community. Blizzard put no effort into his character at all. The only interesting thing that they did for him was kill his son.
Yes.
And at the time, nobody even understood why that was a thing. Like, who is this guy? Why are we supposed to care? It was only later that it became really clear, like at Icecrown, what actually had gone down at the Wrathgate. But
Wrathgate's kind of where Saurfang really became kind of an essential character.
Yeah, because he lost something in them.
Yeah.
But and they did a little tiny bit of work on him in Draenor because, like, he really wanted to atone. Well, whatever the nearest thing that Orc Honor culture has to atonement. Because he was horrified at the things that he'd done, and he talked about that at the start of Wrath of the Lich King a little bit, didn't he? If you hung out in the command center.
I believe it was more around the Colosseum
Was it?
It might have been. This is so long ago.
I thought it was down in like the command center in Borean Tundra, where they're all
Oh
standing
yeah,
there.
it was too. It was Thrall and Garrosh at the Colosseum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, the other thing is Sylvanas is probably the last remaining bit of the old horde. She's the only leader
Thrall's
left.
gone AWOL.
Thrall's
Bane,
just-
nobody knows anything about Bane. I don't know who's in charge of the trolls now.
Nobody, from what I can tell. I think they're just supposed to default under the Orc leader, who is, I guess, Saurfang, for want of a better character, because there's no one else.
I mean, like, well, we're going to be looking at War Chief Gallywix next. Like,
Actually, I wouldn't mind that because then he just turned the horde into one giant party, and it'd be awesome till it explodes.
I think they'd probably be a lot wealthier.
Oh yeah,
They wouldn't be happy. They wouldn't be happy, but they'd have money.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Unfortunately, the goblins are what Blizzard thinks capitalism is like, as opposed to what actually happens, which is that you actually make money. I really don't see where they can go
Yeah.
with destroying their only good character
Well,
in
Luke,
order to basically to make Saurfang and Enduin look better. Basically,
pretty much. Like, who have you got left as leaders? You got Bane, who really hasn't done anything.
well, nobody knows anything about him.
No, he had a brief moment in the spotlight in Warcraft 3 in one of the bonus missions where you rescue him and he's kind of a spoiled brat at that point. And he did a thing. I think it was in Legion or something. But that's it.
Ken was killed off screen, wasn't he? Like in
Yeah, I
a
think so,
story
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
was.
so this is all like, this is going to be like transmedia synergy showing what a terrible idea it is again.
Hmm.
Like, there is a reason that nobody likes those stories that depend on transmedia synergy. Like, I've heard that Halo is the same way.
Destiny.
Like after the
Point.
early game. Yeah, Destiny doesn't have lore, and the reason Destiny doesn't have lore is that nobody wants to spend all their time online reading all that stuff except Tycho. Like, that's
And
it.
he's kind of strange.
He's not normal. He's not your benchmark for a normal person.
But that's not to say he's not cool though. I like him. But yeah, who else? Lothramar. Nobody knows anything about Lothramar. He hasn't really
Yeah, like,
done
is he
anything
still
either.
is he still in charge? Like, is that a thing? I mean, I don't know.
Nobody cares because nobody goes to Silvermoon either.
Yeah. I used to go to Silvermoon on Blood Elf characters.
Yeah, because you have to, because that's where you spawn.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Who's in
just-
charge of Gallywix? Gallywix has just been a non-entity since the Goblin starting area.
Well, he's also not a leader. He's a CEO.
Yeah.
Like, he can't lead a battle. He's got no combat skills.
No, everything will end up on fire. Or he'll just end up hiring mercenaries to do it all for him.
Yeah, he would just pay one of the other leaders to lead for him.
Yeah.
Like, that's what would happen.
That's kind of his
Yeah,
thing.
They basically what the crux of all this is that, building on last week, it really does look like they have nowhere to go. There's no good outcome here. There's no way for them to do anything like it. This is basically like on a less dramatic scale, the Star Wars reboot. Like, they have burned down every dangling plot thread in favor of just doing something completely arbitrary and meaningless. And the only way to salvage it is basically to declare everything that happened, it was all a dream.
Yeah. Well, no, this being WoW, they just declare another timeline.
Yeah, they seem to like that particular approach.
Yeah.
But,
If we've written ourselves into a corner, that's what the Bronze Dragonflight's for.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, you could speculate till the cows come home on why Sylvanas, quote-unquote, really did it. But from all that I've seen, essentially all of the all of the theories people have come up with have been pretty dramatically undermined by blatant facts.
Yeah.
Like she would have to know something and keep it pointlessly secret.
She's done things like that in the
critical.
past, but
Yeah, but they were always in service of herself.
mm-hmm.
And everything she's done has brought her closer to the brick. Like starting a war when the thing you are most terrified of is dying and doing it completely pointlessly and in the most aggressive way possible doesn't make a lot of sense.
No. Like, they're fighting over Azeroth, I believe, for this expansion. That's the kind of the MacGuffin for the story.
But that's just like oil, basically. It's like fighting over oil.
That's
like,
basically what they're doing.
It's not a good reason to put yourself in a state of existential threat. Like because like she watched Garrosh do everything that she's doing now. That's the thing that really gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
Like everything she's doing is a carbon copy of Garrosh's behavior, except on an even bigger, more dramatic scale.
Yeah. At least Garrosh had a bit of reasoning behind his stupidity. Partly the fact that he was an idiot.
Sylvanas thought that Garrosh was a retard.
Yes. She outright stated it multiple times.
And yet she's just copying him.
Mm-hmm.
This is really dumb.
Can we just have an expansion where the Horde aren't being stupid and evil or one of the leaders aren't being stupid and evil for a while?
I think that it's hard for me to escape the suggestion that basically that Anduin is their Medan replacement, and they're just going to move heaven and earth to make him look like a saint.
He has the light powers, except the light isn't good anymore. They ruined that too.
Yeah, I don't know what the light is now. It's sort of hard to tell.
Morally grey.
Yeah, because the void is a force of creation.
They're not chaos golds.
Yeah, that's the thing. The void was never a source of creation. It's really weird that they're trying to go that direction. Apparently what it says in the Chronicle is basically, you get light and you get void, and when you get them both in the same place, they collide and you get like the Azerothian Big Bang. Like that makes so little sense. I can't even begin to explain to you how little sense that makes. Oh, I wonder what that gold thing was.
Yeah, the boss turtle.
I can't get closer to it. I keep clicking on it by mistake.
Rough neck.
But the idea that void, the force which seeks to return everything to oblivion, is somehow a creative force is bewildering to me.
It's contradictory.
At least. Yes. Like what the void does is return things to nothing.
Yeah.
Like, they want the universe to be cold and silent, presumably so they can get on with tentacle molestation in peace. But it's I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But I feel like their attempt to backwrite cosmology that they don't really understand into the story is just going to result in another sort of like Sargeras Draenei Eridar style rewrite sooner or later,
where they just keep contradicting and retconning themselves.
Yeah.
Incidentally, which Sargeras are we dealing with at the moment?
Sargeras is like dead. Like dead.
They're dead?
I suspect.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Happen? I didn't play the back part of the last expansion because I was busy being a grown up and deeply resenting that whole process. But you won't be able to use this. It requires 100 intellect. But
what have we got? Griffin bracelets. Let's see. Bracelets of the Griffin. Attack speed, elemental bonus. No, I think that's better for you.
Yeah, I can't use it though. It requires too much dexterity.
I can't use it at all because it needs int.
Alright. It's got no intellect on it though. Just improves elemental damage.
Yeah, that's not bad. Actually, I'm not even sure what kind of damage Dream casts. Is it elemental or is it something else?
It varies a lot.
Right.
I'll equip it since it's green and I don't want it to go to waste. But
there are spitters in here.
But yeah, I know that I've dwelt on World of Warcraft an awful long time for a person who is ostensibly not playing World of Warcraft. But it just really, really deeply frustrates me that they and this is the bottom line. The bottom line is what this says to me is that their writing sucks because they are bad at their job, and that after this many years they are still bad at their job. Like this isn't an act of executive meddling. This isn't an act of malice. This isn't an act of cunning. This is just they're bad at their job and therefore they write badly.
Yes.
There's no other angle to it. It's just they're bad. they're bad and they should feel bad. Period.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. I'd like to think there's some sort of method to this madness, but from past experience, that's giving them way too much credit.
Yeah, there's not really any good reason to believe that.
Yeah, like Garrosh's arc was, well, actually, it's kind of blatantly obvious as to which way they're going to go with it from the start of Cataclysm.
But them doing that again is beyond the pale levels of stupid,
and without the build-up either.
Yeah, like even if you try and do a dramatic twist, I don't think anybody will really buy it.
Yeah, it'll be.
Where are you going?
Where
I
are
just
you?
came in here, didn't I?
I don't know. Oh yeah, there you are.
I'm right here.
I lost track of you for a moment. It'll be, what is it? Lightspawn Illidan all over again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Illidan is another leader that they just completely lobotomized his character for no reason. And then what do they do in the end? They redeem him by backwriting in a bunch of stuff which was blatantly not happening at the time.
And destroying their own cosmology.
Well, they keep doing that. But
yeah.
I think that the thing that I don't think I encountered anyone other than like the absolute most diehard like Blizzard fanatics who don't really care what they do. Who bought into that whole shtick about how, well, actually Illidan was a good guy all along and we just didn't understand.
But we had an entire WoW expansion and the entirety of the back half of Warcraft 3 that said otherwise.
Yeah, we very much did. And they've just decided, that's all true. Because he's our baby, you didn't understand him. And so all of those atrocities he committed weren't really atrocities. They were just your fault for not being understanding enough of our beloved emo child.
We need our edgelord back because we wrote ourselves into a corner.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going for. I don't know if they have a plan.
Probably not.
What the crap is that?
That's a big doggy. It's a big doggy with fire. I am now on fire. This is bad. Oh dear. Drop your portal.
Bad things are happening to me.
Okay, I'm back. Everything is purple and wobbly.
He's persecuting me. I'm dead. He has about half my health per bite, so...
Wow, he hits hard. Oh, this is a problem.
Where were we?
Oh, we're just across the lake this way. Right, so Big Dog is angry. Big Dog had better drop something interesting.
I wouldn't expect too much if I were you. Why are you not your shrine?
Just grab my grave first.
I have to get past him to get to mine, so...
Yeah, yours is kind of over the air. Whoop. Yeah, yep. Oh, bad.
At least he doesn't remember. At least he doesn't remember how much he hated me.
This is bad. You dead? Nope. I'll just keep running away. This seems to be working okay.
Where the hell did those come from?
Whoa, what are those? Did you just summon ads?
Yes, he did.
Uh-oh.
I didn't know what he was doing, but he was summoning ads, and I couldn't tell that they were there because they're the same colour as the floor.
Oh, yeah, there it looks like this shadow creature that just kind of pops up out of the ground. And then sinks down again.
Right. So I died twice in a row without getting my stuff, so... Basically, everything's ruined forever.
That's okay. Now, my grave's on the... behind him as well, I think. Why did you do this, big mean doggy? I was considering how easy everything's been up to this point. This dog is kind of a roadblock. Even though he's an optional boss.
Right. What news have we got to talk about?
We have... Let me see. Whoops. Titan Quest is being dumb. Hang on a sec. It doesn't like it when I tab out, apparently. Everything is horrible. There we go. Alright, so we've got something that's rather baffling from Sony. Well, it's not baffling when you think about it, but seriously. The Spyro the... Oh, I'm dead already. Wow. The Spyro the Dragon collection. When you buy the game on disc, you get one of the games. The other two you have to download. Enjoy that. Are we just going to keep bashing our faces against this dog?
We're going to have to.
Yeah.
He's got our stuff.
He has that experience points. So, yeah. We did discuss this one a bit before the show as to why they would do this. And honestly, we think it's just because they haven't finished the other two games.
They haven't finished the game. That's what I think is actually going on. They haven't finished the game. Whether in a big way or a small way. For whatever reason, they couldn't master it in time for their schedules.
Yeah. So just be aware of that. You're going to end up downloading 2/3 of the games on this disc.
Well, and honestly, it just doesn't speak very positively of the product as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. This time, have your dogs engage it. Just let your dogs fight it.
Hang on. Let me just check if there's a hotkey I can do that with. Oh no! Never mind. Run away! Why are you attacking me? Leave me alone. Okay, his ads are dead. Where'd he go? Oh, is that just sudden more? Okay, fine.
He does 300 damage per bite.
That's a lot of damage. This is bad. Hang on.
Even his ads hit like trucks.
Is he dead?
No!
Yes, there he goes. Oh, hey, achievement.
What for?
That's a good question. What is that for? You get all this stuff on my screen because Steve
Defeat
rearranged everything.
Shadowmoor on normal before leaving Greece.
Okay.
Wait, you mean we weren't supposed to?
That was an optional boss, but I didn't... Wow, he was a big one. Now, the question is, treasure. Yeah, little more gremlin thingies. Drop something good. There.
You must be joking, mate.
Wow, that was a pile of junk.
Yeah. So yeah, on the topic of Spyro, honestly, I wouldn't buy that on release. I don't care if you like Spyro. Wait until the reviews say that the game actually works when you try and boot it up.
Yeah. I'd like to play the games because I did enjoy the bits of the Spyro games I did play back in the day. But yeah,
You enjoyed people shaking you down for money.
That was Spyro 2, I believe, with Moneybags. Yes. He got really annoying, but at the end of the game, you get to set his butt on fire and just chase him around the map and get all your money back, and it's really, really satisfying.
I think that I felt like I was too old for Spyro at the time Spyro came out. Yeah. The idea of a skateboarding dragon just the cringe went off the charts.
It
Like,
did,
way off
it
the
really
charts.
did. It's like,
Like
oh,
this is like adults trying to be hip sort of
Yes.
development
Oh.
here.
yeah.
But I would have been able to handle it if it was like Mario, because Mario is a goofball.
Mario
but-
still is. He just kind of does whatever.
But oh man, there's like, oh, you know what's popular with the kids? Skateboards. So we'll put our character on a skateboard, and that will be radical.
We'll have a radical talking cheetah friend to go with it, because radical. Ugh.
So what are you gonna do next, mate, Bubsy?
No! Yeah, the 90s were weird. Let's just all forget the 90s ever happened, shall we? What else do we have for news?
Another boss turtle?
We have another boss turtle, yes. Oh, bonus experience. Boop. Stupid fish man. Alright, well I can't tab out without Titan Press wigging out, so...
You know full well it crashes my game when I do that.
Yeah, okay. Hang on, I might just deal with some wigging. More wigging, it's all gonna wig out. Ah,
Because
here
if
we
it crashes for me, if it crashes for you, then you can just rejoin. If it crashes for me, we're back in town.
are. Here we go. So, we have the list of games for PlayStation Plus for August, and I am disappointed.
Please tell me it's better than last time.
It is, but not by much.
It wasn't a tough bar.
No. Unfortunately, this actual arrangement of it is really awful, so let me just get a better one. So, the headliner game is Mafia 3.
I don't remember if that was any good.
Yeah. It seems to
I
be
don't
have
play
done
Mafia
okay.
games,
It's kind of, if I recall, it's kind of your Grand Theft Auto 'em up type dealing, except you're playing for the Italian mob.
I see.
Yeah,
As opposed to the Russian mob.
as opposed to the Russian mob or the fat cousin mob. GTA 4, why? Just why? I'm glad they learned their lesson actually with GTA 5, and GTA 5, if you ignore the online component of it, because that's predatory, to put it nicely, was really good. Really, really good. It had great characters, it had great mechanics, and it had great missions. Really, really good. But yeah, the online component just... Ugh.
I don't know anything about it. I more or less just avoided it.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
I really haven't sunk much time into Grand Theft Auto. Like, I played Grand Theft Auto 3 a bit,
Mm-hmm.
probably around as much as I played Grand Theft Auto 2. But I think I had my fill at that point.
Yeah, the games haven't changed all that much in core.
There are basically, as far as I can tell, there are zero reasons why I would play Grand Theft Auto instead of, say, Saints Row.
Yeah. Yeah, GTA 5 I'd say is worth playing just because of the way they work their characters. They actually have character growth and development, and they're actually kind of people.
You know, I guess that I'm not patient enough to play a game like that. Like, I'm patient enough to grind for hours in World of Warcraft, but I'm not patient enough to play Grand Theft Auto, because in Grand Theft Auto, you've got to drive from one side of the town to the other in traffic.
Listening to the same 80s metal station all the way.
It's like, I don't mind doing drudge work in games, but I don't want to do the sort of drudge work that people do in real life.
I drive from one town to the other in real life. Why would I do that in a game? Oh dear. I could probably say the same thing about giant spiders, but anyway.
You know, I keep using that line that line distortion attack. But I'm pretty sure it only does 10 damage points.
Maybe buff that one up.
If I could buff it so I could use it more often, I definitely would, but
Bye now.
Yeah, some abilities work that way.
I don't think this one does.
Boo. What else do we have? We have a 4v1 horror game. Yeah, Dead by Daylight. Yeah. So this is basically...
Does it have zombies in it?
yes. Sort of.
It's not worth talking about.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Evolve kind of thing. It's your asymmetric multiplayer where you've got a team of 4 against one player who controls a giant monster. So that type of deal. Just, yeah.
I'm having difficulty caring.
Yeah.
I don't want to play zombie games. Like, ever.
No.
I just like I'm done with zombies. I'm done. No more zombies.
Yeah, no more zombies. Not even ironic, fun zombies anymore. Even that's kind of losing its shine. Largely because they ran Dead Rising into the ground. By making it brown. Okay, what else we got? For PS3, we have a thing called Bound by Flame. A RPG. And honestly, it sounds just like, you know, about as edgy as you can get. You're a guy who has been possessed... Oh, yeah. You're a guy who has been possessed by a demon.
Whoa. Does your mom let you play that?
I've already played that game. It's called Shadow Hearts, and Shadow Hearts was awesome. It was also incredibly campy at some points.
I see.
Very, very campy.
That game was around at the time where I had the least possible money, so I did play a lot of games around that time.
Yeah. Hey, the third one had a guy who could equip a submarine as a weapon.
Well, it's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a thing. I love that guy. He didn't actually say anything for the most part. He was one of those big stoic types. So a lot of his cutscenes of getting a new weapon were he'd just walk up and pick something up, and that would be his new weapon. He's the only character you couldn't generally buy weapons for. You just had to watch these cutscenes of him picking random things up. I think we need to go back to town. So yeah, I don't know. Mercenary, possessed by a flame demon. Yeah. We've heard this all before.
Why can't they, like, come up with something new and cool? Why is wait, Delphi's lit up now? Are we supposed to have that?
We're in Delphi, but we haven't actually found the portal for Delphi.
Right. But yeah, I don't. The games industry for the past like month or so has been incredibly depressing.
Yeah.
It's just been a whole pile of nothing.
Yeah. Like, oh boy. Here's actually a good game for the PS3 owners. Serious Sam 3 BFE. It's Serious Sam, except new and shiny.
Which one is 3? Is that new or?
BFE was a few years ago now.
I don't know which Serious Sam is which.
Yeah.
I don't know how many there are or.
A lot of people will maintain that the first one continues to be the best.
Wasn't there one of them that is mean to you if you cheat or something?
That was BFE. I'd love it if you pirated BFE. You'd play the game for maybe 5 minutes or so normally, and then a giant pink scorpion monster would pop out of nowhere and murder you, and it would continue to murder you, and you could not kill it because the thing was invincible.
I see. That's an act of wanton cruelty, and I very much approve.
I very much approve it. I love it when developers do things like that for pirated copies, because then you have the pirates.
Regular DRM.
Yeah, but then you have pirates go onto boards and cry about it, and then everybody can laugh at them.
What's best though is when reviewers write reviews and cry about it.
Yes, it becomes just hilarious. Oh dear.
Which is a poignant thing to mention, since that is why Titan Quest failed.
Piracy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no. Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes, it's literally yes and no. Number one, Titan Quest failed because nobody bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, Titan Quest failed because nobody bought it because it got really bad reviews.
It
The
did.
reviews all said that it was disastrously buggy.
Which it wasn't.
Number three, no, it wasn't.
Wasn't?
That's the thing.
Nah.
No, it was nowhere near as buggy as everybody said it was. The reason for this was that most of the bugs were introduced by what happened if you pirated the game. It was an anti-piracy measure. But the reviewers pirated the game instead of purchasing it if they didn't get a copy. And they widely distributed reports of masses and masses of bugs, far more than were actually in the game. Like, there were no more bugs in Titan Quest at release than were in, say, Diablo 2.
Mm-hmm.
But it was dramatically exaggerated by the fact that the game was bugged to unplayability if you used a illegal copy.
Aha. Yeah, it's a shame. Like, we're experiencing bugs with it now occasionally, and this is the remastered version, but you have to keep in mind, this is a, 15-year-old game now?
Well, not only that, but this is also a situation where we're trying to play an old game online, which has had any number of different fixes and patches stapled over top to try and keep the online infrastructure working in an era where the internet has changed a lot.
Yeah. But, I'd love to see more developers kind of go that route where, not just really if you pirate the game that's broken, because half the time when that happens it's a leaked build. And that's not funny. But putting in bits and pieces that deliberately break the game in hilarious ways, like for that game dev story. If you pirated the game, you had to deal with pirates in your game.
I guess I don't really know what sort of level piracy is at these days. Is that still something people are constantly doing?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm just not involved in that at all. I don't play anything that I haven't bought, so...
Yeah,
except for those rare occasions where purchase is literally impossible.
Yeah. As you get older, you kind of just realise that it just doesn't... It's not worth the effort.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I was really young, I had a lot of time to look for keygens and stuff, and then cleanse my computer of viruses having done so.
Yes.
But I don't want to deal with that crap anymore.
I'd rather just buy the game and not have giant pink scorpions chew on my face.
It's like, that's bad for your health, man.
If I like the game, great. If I don't like the game, I'll consider a refund.
I think really the practical reasoning is that we can buy the games that we want now, and I don't mean that in the sense that we have more money now, because I certainly don't feel like I have more money now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that in the sense that you don't actually have to, go all the way down to the store and hope that they have what you want in stock, and then pay, a king's ransom for it. Instead of that, like, we've got, services that make purchasing and playing a game relatively easy. And that was always the problem before, was that the services were bad.
Yeah. Like, nowadays you can, go to Steam and buy a game with 3 clicks. Good old games as well. EA, Origin, if you're really a masochist. I think the game actually just agreed with me because it gave me an achievement called Good Point. Puncture 4 enemies with 1 arrow. Neat.
Oh, I'm getting completely molested here.
I found a cave. By ghost whores?
Ghost boars.
Oh, okay.
I'm being stampeded by my spirit animal. Apparently.
Bad piggy.
They're called spirit animal.
There's somebody else's spirit animal, I guess, because they don't like you much. Yeah, there's a cave back over here, by the way.
Right, yeah, well, I was caught up with those guys. I wasn't going to try and, run down the road with 15 million boars chasing me.
Where was that cave? Wrong way. This way.
Although it would have been comical to do so. Yeah. I haven't actually bought anything from Good Old Games, I don't think, because I'm pretty much in a state of perpetual paranoia about the idea of splitting my games across multiple platforms.
Yeah,
like,
Good Old Games actually, for the most part, if you buy a game there, you can redeem a Steam key now.
Right. It's just, I would rather have all my stuff compiled in one place, because that was my core reason for not wanting a bar of EA Origin. Because I didn't want to have like this special program that I installed just for their games.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, I don't want Ubi's crap either, because even though you can play it through Steam, all that does is launches
Uplay, yeah.
And I hate Uplay.
Yeah.
I hate it. I don't care if people keep telling me, oh, it's not that intrusive. It exists, and that's an intrusion.
It's an extra layer we don't need. I have a pointy stick. What does this pointy stick do? It is not as good as my current pointy stick.
It's for pointy sticking at people.
But my current pointy stick is better. Not that I really use it very much. More Driders. Let's not get into that conversation again.
Friendly equivalent.
Yes. Where they're ants instead of spiders.
Are they, though? These look a lot like spiders.
They look a lot like spiders, yes. Their name suggests spider. But,
besides, they're Formians in whatchamacallit, Forgotten Realms.
Yes, there are. This cave has been a massive disappointment. There are Driders, except totally not Driders, but no treasure.
Low quality Driders.
Cheap. Yeah, they couldn't be bothered to animate the 2 extra legs.
Right, we got any other news?
Just that little nugget that Steam flash sales might be returning during, well, Steam sales.
According to who? Like, this is a rumor, so we need to clarify exactly whether this is a rumor from Kotaku or whether we've got some reason to actually believe it.
Yeah, I just grabbed this one because that was the bottom of the barrel. There was nothing else. Let me have a quick look.
I think I felt that generally speaking, as a mechanic, the flash sales were pretty much as close to a win-win as you were going to get, because they disproportionately motivate a consumer to purchase something that they might not otherwise purchase, and on top of that, the purchaser gets a good price on a product. Generally,
a better price than the item is normally on for the sale.
The question is purely on the self-control of the purchaser. Do they actually want to buy this thing or not? That's all there is to it. There's no weird obligations in there. There's no exploitativeness or anything like that. It's like they're tempting you with a good price, and you are choosing whether or not to pay that good price. Like that's how the market is supposed to work. Yeah, that's what sales are supposed to do.
Yep. The only downside is that these sales only last about 8 to 12 hours at most.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Which is a downside for us as consumers, because we can't take our time and consider it. But for the sales,
well, that's the point, though. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But you can easily, if you've got any sort of self-discipline at all, just make yourself a rule that you don't participate, or you do participate, or you'll only buy things on your wish list. Like this, as I said, the ball is entirely in the purchaser's court.
Yeah.
They can choose whether or not they're going to be disciplined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them come back.
Now, I presume that the reason they disappeared was something to do with the refund system.
Yeah, something like that. I forget exactly what it was. Because it happened back in 2015, I believe. Yes, 2015.
Wow, I shot something and it died.
Wow.
I'm doing damage now.
What's this thing? It's a dome, which is closed.
Oh, I leveled up at some point.
Did I? Oh, yes, I did.
Uh-huh.
Better doggo. I'm just going to max out doggo. Why not?
There is no way to power up that distortion wave enough to make it do a dang thing. If I put all of the points into all of the passives, it would eventually get to the point where it did damage. But it looks like most of the damage of it is backloaded into the third tier of it that is 8 mastery points away.
I see.
So it basically does really crappy damage until such time as you have pumped a huge number of points into it.
You got to invest.
Yeah, you got to invest. What if I put all my points into this? Will that increase my damage? It will give me a dot.
Ooh, hello. I found some of Dionysus' Wide Scheme. What does that do?
I don't know. I didn't even look at those things. Like, for me, the reward of finding those things is to put them together.
Yes.
Like doing a puzzle. Like, I don't even do anything once they're assembled. I just got rot of my bank.
Just collect a bunch and stick them in the bank. Yep. Yeah, I think that's about it for the news, really. There's not a whole lot's happened again.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I haven't really been looking very... Man, Delphi's seen big days. I haven't really been looking too carefully for news, to be quite honest. I've been spending most of my time reading funny comics on FGO. But
Professionalism.
But yeah, there's not really much going on in the games industry in general. I think that most people are still in the sort of post E3 period where, like, well, the only things that we actually announce at this point in time are the things that we have delayed, and that's not good press. So,
Yeah.
Thinking that the god Apollo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll probably be another month. I think it's about September or so that things start picking up again.
Yeah. But in the meantime, there's not a lot to talk about. I suppose there's been mercifully few ridiculous scandals and idiotic behaviour. Like, we haven't had another Star Wars debacle or anything like that.
Potions, greaves, bows, helmets of all kinds.
But
Can I?
yeah, there's just not a huge amount to talk about in regards to games, and the anime season's been such a disappointment that I can't really wax lyrical about that either. It's just generally been, why am I carrying this trash around?
I don't know.
Why this guy talks too much? Good grief. But the weapons guy, I mean, can you hear what he's saying? My goodness, he just wails.
Oh, yeah. And it's such bad voice acting as well.
Bad voice acting is its own kind of good voice acting.
Yes, it is. In the right case.
As long as it's not Pappenbrook.
Eh,
Where's the waypoint? I still don't have it.
where is the waypoint?
Oh, here it is.
Oh, it's over there. Okay. It's out of the way. Actually, I think the respec guy... Yeah, here he is.
Dissolve your past. Relearn your future.
I don't want
Needed.
those abilities.
Oh, so you do it one at a time, do you?
Yeah, you pay money per point respect. And you cannot
I'm gonna-
respec your mastery.
Right, well, I'm going to pull a point that I accidentally put into that melee ability that I don't have.
Boop, boop, boop. And put some points into my roguey abilities instead of just doggos. So doggos in the Nature's Tree have so many buffs. You don't need to put anything else into the Nature Tree if you can just go doggos and have doggos. Which is what I intend to do.
Right, hold on. What's going on here? Oh, did I
To the wise and powerful.
I'm trying to work out what I'm doing here.
You should be
Uh,
Good riddance.
Put that in there.
Again.
Oh,
No, I didn't want to reclaim that one. Undo.
What? Travel far. What is
I'm bad at this game.
travel far? Yes. Buy something else. Travel far. What?
I'm just annoying this guy now.
Buy. Yes.
Oh,
Travel
I
far.
think I'll keep leveling that point blank AoE nuke because it seems to be relatively effective.
I don't think there's anything else around near the amphitheater. Nope. Oh boy.
This guy's a douche.
He is.
I'll
He's
punch him in the
really,
face.
really punchable. Oh dear. There are giant. Holy wow! There are really big spider peoples here.
Where are you?
I just went to the other end of the street. I don't think we're supposed to go this way yet, though.
Right, the thing is that you are, on the map, you are just a generic green dot like all of the NPCs, so I have no idea where you are. There you are.
I think we're supposed to go into the Oracle or whatever it was over here. Not there. Where are the stairs? There they are. Oh boy. Was there anything even else vaguely newsworthy?
You have come for
I'll have to tab out and see if there's anything that I spotted.
If it breaks, then yeah. We'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
well, if it breaks, you'll know all about it on your end. So,
I guess we are supposed to go this way.
there's another Senra and Kagura.
Yeah.
It's a pinball game this time, I think.
Yes. I assume they're using giant boobs as bumpers.
I have no idea.
It is something.
No, it looks like a party game, maybe?
Okay.
No, it's a pinball game. It's a pinball game.
Senran Kagura is one of those franchises I just tend to feel a bit skeevy looking at.
And it is right that you should do so. However, there is something very honest about the guy making them. Like, he knows what he likes. He has put everything into it.
Wow,
I really
the
can't
lag
find
is
anything
real.
cool here. The lag is probably real because I'm tapped out.
This is an interesting experience.
None of these things are cool.
Oh, there he comes. Oh, and now this ant is invulnerable. What? So yeah, this is Titan Quest at its wackiest.
Persona Q2, huh?
You.
I didn't even know about that. How did I miss that? I don't think my game's coming back.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
it did in the end.
In that case, we might look at wrapping up the show.
Right, but yeah, I didn't know that Persona
I think
Q2 was
we
coming
may have
out.
also lost Vol.
But I can hear you. Why can't you hear me? Hello?
Oh dear.
Hello?
Yeah, Vol seems to be muted.
There must be a hotkey for that. Am I still muted?
Right. Well, everything seems to be catching fire now, so I think I might wrap the show out here.
Oh.
Yeah, before everything just explodes.
It even
See if
says
I
that I'm
can get hold of
transmitting.
Vol anyway. Yes, no, maybe.
My mouse doesn't work.
The light's on, but nobody seems to be home.
I don't know what you want me to do.
Wait a moment. Just say something, Wall.
Something, Vol. Something,
Right.
Vol.
Okay, this is a new one. The stream seems to be able to hear you, but I can't.
This is sounding more and more like a thing
Right.
that's not my fault.
I have no idea what to make of this one. This is a completely new error.
I don't know what you want from me.
Okay. Yeah, alright. Well, seeing as though everything is broken down, I'm just going to wrap it up here. So, oh, wow.
He says everything.
Thank you
but
for
he just
listening to
means
our
his computer.
disaster, everyone. We'll catch you next time.